Roller Derby Quebec does have a strength factor, of course, assigned to them so that they can work out their ranking points. And they did really well, considering this is their first year of full WFTDA action, and they look fairly strong against a rebuilt Toronto Roller Derby team.
So let's look here now at our rosters for this game. A quick run-through of the Tri-City Thunder roster. Tri-City in white. Number 0, Andy Slamberg. 03, Dangerous. 13, Rainbows Bright. 1321, Christy Skelton. 14, NX.
Griffin. Number 198, Blackrock Bruiser. Number 240, Ivana Layerout. Number 26, Murphy. Number 46, Midnight Maniac. Number 51, Dana Skull Crusher. Number 52, Tabrina Schreier. Number 56, Vagina Warrior. Number 60, Pepper Sticks. Number 622, Libralian. Number 666, Incinerator. And number 82, Tuesday Hula. That is your Lake Effect Furies on the bench. Guillotine, Andy, and of course Papa Wow prowling the sidelines as well. Not much of a change to this Queen City roster from the one you saw play in the Division 1 playoffs last year, their first year in D1. Quite a bit of change on Thunder, who also were a D1 team last year. But really quite a new Tri-City lineup, particularly in the Jammer rotation this season. Interesting, Quad City Chaos the last 2 years has been a full D1 tournament, and now we have 3 teams who played in D1 last year but fighting for their D1 lives. And this is going to be a very important weekend to see where they stand moving forward for the rest of the way.
All right, so we are about ready to get underway. No surprise for who Queen City, the Furies, will be sending out first to the 1234 Skako Jammer line. That's number 622, Libralian. Libralian will be facing off against Crazy Squirrel, number 231. Again, Tri-City in the white, Queen City in the black. You will see an eyeball up in the upper right of your screen. If you click on that, it'll open up a pop-up window with rosters and other information. Libralian now moving up the outside line. There's a bit of a 3-wall now, knocking her to the infield. Resets quickly, getting a penalty call coming in off the bat. Libralian, though, does pick up lead jammer status.
Yeah, the pack's still stuck at turn number 1. It was Crazy Squirrel being held to the outside, trying to work her way through a tough Queen City defense to start things off.
Libralian already completing that first scoring pass, does pick up 4 points to start things off. Crazy Squirrel has completed the initial, now rounding turn 2. Libralian hot on her wheels. Pack moving at a pretty brisk pace so far, about a third of a track ahead as the jammers close in. Libralian, though, calls it at turn 2 and will settle for that 4-0.
Yeah, smart. You can see how together this Queen City team is here early on. Knowing that if they could just buy their time, because they, even though they were on the offense, they were speeding it up, trying to see if Libralian could pass Crazy Squirrel and get a few more points than that jam. 4-0 though, or 5-0 is the start. Just a minute and a half into this opening half.
Well, they found that 5th point. Jammers of the now, number 14, Annex for Tri-City. And that's going to be 666, Incinerator for the Lake Effect Furies, out quickly with lead status.
Second lead pickup in a row for the Lake Effect Furies. Annex, one of the jammers returning for Tri-City Thunder this season.
Incinerator hopping around on the outside line. Does pick up some more points. See how many she has indeed picked up. She got 3 on that scoring pass. Quick run through of the officiating roster for this game. The crew head referee is Jules and Regulations. Inside pack ref Helen Bayon. Jammer refs are Jean-Philippe Amon and Tal Glassawada. OPRs are Penny Whistler, Patricide, and Davey Darko. And our alt official is My Refnut. Should there be any reviews, My Refnut will deliver that information to us and then to you at home.
Dangerous, a transfer this season from the Hammer City Roller Girls, getting the star for the Thunder. And jamming is Murphy for the Lake Effect Furies.
Yep, Murphy got hit down hard on the infield, was back up in a hurry, now trying to navigate from the outside to the middle lanes, running into all sorts of interference and smashing good time. Murphy driven to the infield again at turn 2.
And there it is.
Yep. It's a track cut on Murphy.
First lead of the game for Tri-City going to the transfer Dangerous. Smashing good time also coming over from the Hammer City Roller Girls.
Dangerous now on a power jam. Murphy in the Camp Derby penalty box for a track cutting penalty. Danger is just working her way, pushing through these jammers, breaking the bridge apart, puts up a grand slam for her efforts.
First points of the game on the board for Thunder, now within 3 as we near the 3.5-minute mark of the opening half.
Things moving at a brisk pace, except when the jammer comes into the back of that 3 wall, now being split up as some offense comes in from Thunder. Thunder making some noise here in the 3rd jam of the game. They are on the board with those first 5 points, looking to see if they can initiate a lead change.
Camp Roller Derby penalty box now empty, 5-on-5 on the track.
Murphy with the star in hand coming out of the penalty box. Forearm penalty being issued. And that penalty is going to go to number 519, Smash a Good Time of Tri-City. Not enough yet, though, to free Murphy on that pass.
And we have our first lead change of the game. A huge jam from Dangerous here early on, a 10-0 jam. And suddenly Tri-City has a 10-8 lead. This is the 6th time these two teams have met since 2010, and Tri-City does have the edge, 4-1 historically against Queen City, despite often being the underranked team. Last year, these two teams met in May at Beaver Fever, and it was a very tight 12-point upset for Thunder.
These teams, of course, no strangers to each other, all very geographically closely positioned. Libralian coming off the 1234 Skako jammer line is the one in black with the star. Chrissy Skelton, 1321, wearing the star for Tri-City.
Skelton, a veteran on the Thunder team. Didn't jam much last year, but has worn the star in the past.
Libralian has picked up lead for Queen City. Coming in on a scoring pass. Skelton still working her way through at turn 1. Goes down hard with a hit there from number 153, Low Hits Griffin.
Helmet cover is off now and in Skelton's hand. Annex is the pivot. Oh, and Baralian with a nice little hop over turn 2 to get through, just as Skelton also able to get through and puts that star back on her helmet. That's going to force a call off, but we've got another lead change, second of the game so far. Queen City back ahead, 18-10.
Yeah, that little apex hop there by Libralian is something that no doubt we will see used over and over again. Very skilled, big part of the Libralian arsenal.
Yep. Yeah, fearless skater. It's hard to believe sometimes we forget that Queen City played their first ever D1 playoff tournament last year after 2 years in the Division 2. Thunder has an opposite history. 2013, they were a D2 tournament, spent the last 2 years playing in the D1 playoffs. Crazy Squirrel jamming in the white up against Incinerator for Lake Effect Furies, and she is the lead jammer.
Yeah, Incinerator got knocked to the infield just as she picked up that lead status, was able to re-enter though very quickly, run this, see if she can get a couple of points on the board. Officials are conferring over at turn 2, just making sure that the math adds up.
This is the first action of the season for the Tri-City Thunder. The Queen City Roller Girls kicked things off with a big victory over Rock City just a few weeks ago. And we are waiting for that point adjustment. It looks like one more point being added to the Queen City score. 19-10 is your updated score.
Guillotine on the bench for Queen City was petitioning for 2, but only 1 is delivered. Annex with the star for Tri-City up at the front there, jamming for Queen City, number 51, Dana Skullcrusher. Dana Skullcrusher taking her first turn off the 1234 Skako jammer line. Running to all sorts of interference up at the front there. Seeing Megan Plead doing a fine job anchoring that triangle, not giving any quarter, and that's going to allow Tri-City to get through, pick up that lead status for Annex.
Only the second lead status picked up for Thunder. This game, 4-2 is the advantage for Lake Effect Furies.
Dana Skullcrusher with the star stash. Star is back on helmet. Annex comes up the inside, picks up 3 points on that pass. So that jam goes 3-0 for Thunder.
19-13 now is your score. Wicked Skatewear. Wicked Skatewear loves to make you look and feel fabulous. Plus, they like glitter and neon. A lot of neon. Visit wickedskatewear.com to experience all the shenanigans.
Now on the 1234 Skateco start line for Tri-City, number 519, Smashing Good Time, as Tri-City starts mixing up their jammer rotation here in the early going. Libralian back on the line for Queen City. Libralian only a few feet ahead of Smashing Good Time at the moment.
Seeing a lot of defense here early on in this game and not a lot of offense until those two packs kind of collide with each other, as we just saw, but popping out through that mess is Libralian, now 3 for 3 in leads in this game.
Smashing Good Time, still a couple more to beat to complete that initial pass. Meanwhile, Libralian comes in trying to pierce apart that four wall. Running into Andy Slamberg there. Smashing Good Time has completed the initial pass there.
Nice pass from Libralian, twisting and turning through that pack, picking up all 4 points. We've already seen quite a wide jammer rotation from Tri-City, and I was talking to the bench staff before the game, and it was something they really wanted to focus on this year. Tri-City in the past has been known for having very short jammer rotations. Last year, at times in the playoffs especially, they even dropped down to a 2 jammer rotation. Honey Badger was the other jammer along with Crazy Squirrel. And so look for Tri-City to really try and broaden that. And I've heard that they've been practicing with as many as 9 jammers in practice.
Well, they've got another new one coming off the 1234 Skateco start line right now, number 2042, Agrosaurus. Meanwhile, Incinerator is 666 with the star for the Furies.
Especially, I think, early on in the season, look for them to try and solidify that rotation before we move forward into the playoffs. Nice defense here from both teams, keeping things at the first straightaway, but eventually Incinerator's through with another lead jammer status for the Lake Effect Furies.
Lake Effect Furies with a 10-point lead at the moment, 23-13 after 10 minutes of play. They are winning the lead jammer battles, controlling that scoreboard. There's a 5-point pass for Incinerator.
Nice easy pass to outside lane, wide open. There has been a star pass now. Crazy Squirrel was the pivot, now is the jammer.
Big hit on Incinerator. Getting rocked there.
She was able to pick up 1 point, though, as she went down to the inside. So that extends the lead for Queen City now to 29-13, just past the 20-minute mark. 19 minutes to go in the opening half.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Number 24, Tri-City, with the thunderous hit on Incinerator. Libralian now facing off against Dangerous on the 1234 Skateco start line.
Dangerous has 10 of the 13 points all accumulated on one jam early on in this one.
But Dangerous really there showing some fine strength, getting around Low-Hits Griffin to pick up lead in the driver's seat already on this jam.
First time Libralian has not been able to pick up lead jammer status this game. Dangerous makes a nice move to the inside, calls it off for 4. Another 4-point pickup for Dangerous. And now accounting for 14 of those 17 Thunder points you see on the board.
Yeah, Dangerous indeed. A nice pickup for Thunder. Having spent a couple of those years with Hammer City and is bringing that to this level here today. Number 14 on the 1234 Skateco start line for Tri-City. That's going to be Annex. Facing off against 51, Dana Skullcrusher. Skullcrusher up the outside, taking lane 4, left wide open for. Didn't need much of that lane either. Picks up lead very quickly. Annex, meanwhile, getting stuck at the back. And as Dana Skullcrusher comes in, clears a bit of space, running a bit of her own offense, dropping Agrosaurus.
And there the Furies blocker is through with another 5-point pickup. 17-minute mark now of the half.
Furies currently exactly doubling Tri-City on that scoreboard, 34-17.
This is Skullcrusher's first lead jammer status of this game in 2 attempts.
High blocking penalty being issued to Sabrina Schreier of Queen City, taking a seat in the Camp Derby. Annex has completed the initial pass. Meanwhile, Dana Skullcrusher going back for more. Jam gets called down by turn 3. 4 more points for the Furies. So that jam goes 9-0 for Queen City.
Only 4 penalties so far this game for the Lake Effect Furies. May account for their lead, which they have now extended to 21 points.
Meanwhile, on the Tri-City side of the ledger, they have 7 box trips thus far. Nobody in trouble yet in the early going. Crazy Squirrel, number 231, wearing the star for Tri-City. And that's going to be Libralian coming up the outside, picking up lead very quickly. Crazy Squirrel, a bit of a dipsy doodle around the outside, completes the initial pass, no pass on penalty.
Crazy Squirrel, key part of this offense last season. They're really going to need to get her going if they want to have a chance to get back into this one. A nice pass again from Libralian for another 4 points for Queen City. Well, you know, 1234 Skate Company has been representing our start line at the Quad City Chaos 2016. I'd like to tell you a little bit about them. 1234 Skate Company supplies Peterborough and the surrounding 705 area with roller skates and roller derby equipment. They offer skate maintenance classes, fresh meat training, and minimums testing. 1234skatecompany.com.
Smashing good time coming off the 1234 Skateco start line for Tri-City. Getting reabsorbed into the middle there. Incinerator, meanwhile, picking up lead jammer for Queen City.
The Incinerator remains perfect now, 4 for 4.
Incinerator already approaching the back of the pack. Smashing good time gets released from the pack courtesy of a multiplayer block call on the Lake Effect Fury blockers. Incinerator, though, meanwhile, knife through butter. Coming around the outside, gets a little tangled up on the outside line with Antastic. Does call the jam. Picks up another 4-point pass.
Just past the midway point of this opening half here, the second game of the 2016 Quad City Chaos Live. The bunker in Downsview Park, home of Toronto Roller Derby. I'm the Derby Nerd here with Mr. Whistler on the mic. It's going to be Dangerous in the white jamming for Thunder. She will be up against Libralian in the black and turquoise for Queen City.
I think it's turquoise. They call it teal, I understand.
Teal? Well, you know, teal, turquoise.
I don't have my color wheel with me this weekend, though. Dangerous, though, getting a bit of an advantage, picking up lead against Libralian. Dangerous with only, though, about a quarter of a lap advantage right now is going to be probably looking for a quick hit it and quit it.
Maybe not.
Are they in time?
No, they are not. Looks like a steal of 2 for Libralian.
Waiting to see.
Sorry, still waiting. And it was, yes, a steal of 2.
Dangerous did pick up all 4 available points, though. Would have probably preferred a 4-0, but that's a dangerous thing for Dangerous to do when you're going up against Libralian, who has deceptive speed sometimes at the tail end of a jam.
And Dana Skullcrusher out there once again for Lake Effect Furies, up against Annex.
Annex looking for some offensive help. Got Rainbow's Bright out there along with Chrissy Skeleton. Skeleton bouncing back off of Dana Skullcrusher. Sabrina Schreier now opens up the inside line. Very nice move there by Sabrina Schreier to open up that space for her. The jammer picks up a grand slam.
Annex just swallowed up now as the pack moves onto the second straightaway. Dana Skullcrusher already around and picking up points. Absorbs a nice hit there, stays inbounds and upright. 5 more points on the board for the Furies.
Annex running into all sorts of trouble on this jam. Star is in hand, looking to see if we may get a pass. Working very hard on trying to complete this. Meanwhile, we've already got 15 points put up by Dana Skullcrusher. Annex, though, does finally complete that initial pass. Star is going to go back on the helmet.
Tri-City, you see, having a hard time making those transitions between, well, the offense and defense, but also from the star passes as well. Dana Skullcrusher had 1 free pass basically there. And I think we're going to see that from some of these teams. Toronto we saw earlier, Tri-City here now, just kind of working things out early on in the season. very new-looking rosters.
There
Bound
is-
to be some mistakes.
Yeah, but there is some veteran presence as well on the Tri-City side. You saw at the very end of that jam, Chrissy Skeleton nicely shutting the door on Dana Skullcrusher, and that limited that final scoring pass to just 2 points. But overall, 17-0 on that one for the Furies, 65-21, under 12 minutes left in the first half.
And Incinerator back again, jamming for the Furies, keeping her perfect lead percentage as she picks up her 5th lead of the half. And Crazy Squirrel, though, but a quarter of a track back and trying to make up space quickly.
Crazy Squirrel does have some veteran experience as well. Second season with Thunder, having spent some time also out in Wellington and Fergus, out some smaller organizations.
And Alliston as well.
And Alliston
Renegade
as well.
Games, yeah.
Crazy Squirrel's, it's kind of been a bit of a free agent the last couple of years, and putting that experience to good use here this weekend.
Definitely an integrated member, though, of this team. And it's funny, the Tri-City Thunder have built themselves up over the years with some really key transfers. We're seeing Dangerous having a breakout game right now. She's wearing the star once again on this, what looks to be a power start. So Incinerator picking up a penalty the very end of that jam. Can't quite see what it is. And there's Dangerous, though, with another lead for the Thunder. That is her 4th lead of the half. And Thunder has only picked up 5.
Dangerous showed earlier in this half what she can do with a power jam. Going back to the well for more of the same right now. Threading the needle here down the far straightaway. As Queen City closes in around her, not really giving her a lot of room to work with. The Tri-City offense now trying to free her. She's on that outside line, going back and forth, but now there's the drawback. That's being engaged there by Bricks Hithouse, number 1027 of the Furies. Star in hand for Incinerator, who has returned from the Camp Derby penalty box. However, looks like a low blocking penalty is going to send her with that Jammer Star back to the Camp Derby penalty box. The power jam continues for Tri-City and Dangerous, who does complete that first 5-point pass.
That first penalty, just to give you an update, was for skating out of bounds, perhaps skating out before she'd called it off at the end of that jam. And now, once again, as you mentioned, back in the penalty box with a low block. So back-to-back power jam opportunities for Tri-City. Great defense, though, from the Furies, limiting the damage. And it looks like, in total, in a power jam and a half, only 8 points picked up.
Yeah, again, Bricks Headhouse 1027 at the tail end of that jam, flipping a hip. And that knocks Dangerous to the outside lane. And she calls it while Incinerator appears to be standing at the Camp Derby penalty box.
Only skater in the box, 4-4 in the pack. Power start opportunity here for Crazy Squirrel. Tri-City looking to tighten up that jammer rotation, perhaps. Squirrel was just out there 2 jams ago.
Crazy Squirrel, very explosive off the 1234 Skako's start line. Also saw a bit of an explosion of offense from Thunder, which helped. She does pick up lead status. Incinerator now back out of the box, hands the star almost immediately to Libralian to pivot. Libralian will now be the jammer for the Lake Effect Furies.
That's the first time that Thunder have picked up 2 leads in a row in this game. And they required a power start to do so. A couple points picked up at the end of that for Crazy Squirrel. Tri-City Thunder now within reach, 67-32, 8 minutes to go in the opening half. So quite a nice little run put together here for Thunder. 11-2 run over the last 4 jams. It's been their most sustained push of the game so far. Libralian finishing that jam with the star, getting right back out there on the 1234 Skateco start line up against Christy Skelton in the white for Thunder.
Both jammers very slow off the 1234 Skateco start line as they're both kind of looking like, okay, no, after you. Skelton now trying to find room on the inside line, finds it closed. Tri-City, meanwhile, traps Libralian in the center of the track, doesn't let her go one way or the other. Skelton now takes the outside, picks up lead. Libralian stays inbounds on that initial pass. Unable to do anything with it, though, as 3 more points come in for Thunder.
3 leads in a row now for Thunder. Narrowing this gap, 67-35. Lots of time left here in the first half. And again, going to the deep jammer rotation, Pitia Fu getting an opportunity with the star. Crazy Squirrel, though, wearing the stripe just in case. This is Pidiafu's first jam of the game. And it looks like a timeout has potentially been called. An official review, it looks like, for Queen City. Let's tell you about more of our sponsors. We've got great sponsors this weekend at the 2016 Quad Cities Chaos, including Nerd Roller Skates. I love Nerd Roller Skates. I'm a big fan. Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated roller skate shop with everything you need for Derby, rink, or park. Visit them online at www.nerdskates.com, offering free shipping in Canada on orders over $150. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll. And also, of course, our timeouts this weekend are being brought to you by another great skate company, Roller Derby Athletics. This team official timeout is brought to you by them. They offer official training. They are the official training partner of Toronto Roller Derby, and Tord would like to thank Roller Derby Athletics for making them safe, strong, and unstoppable. For off-skate fitness training, check out their programs at rollerderbyathletics.com. Mr. Whistler, do you have an update on that official timeout?
Yes, Queen City is. This is an official review by Queen City. They are asking for an out-of-play call to have been levied against Tri-City's pivot in the last jam.
Okay.
So they're still talking it over. We'll find out shortly what the result of this is.
That would have a profound effect on the Tri-City line because Crazy Squirrel is out there as the backup to Pidiafu, as we mentioned in our first jam at the start of the game. So they may want to rethink things if that doesn't work out for them. But it looks like the bench staff returning to the benches. No changes made, so I'm going to assume that Queen City did not win that official review.
Now, and back in Omaha, Division I playoffs in October, saw Guillotine win multiple official reviews, taking full advantage of that opportunity to call 2.5 if you win your first one.
Yeah, it was a really great debut for the Furies last year in the playoffs, of course, upsetting Toronto in the opening round. Went on to face Gotham in the second round, which was a bit tough, but overall a great D1 debut for the Furies last year, and they're looking to build off of that this year, and it's starting with another Libralian lead jammer status.
Well, and this is now the third straight jam that Libralian has worn the star, having received a star pass 2 jams ago, second to start off the start line with the star. It's something we will see Queen City do from time to time. If they do time their reviews and timeouts properly, give her a bit of a break, and they're running with it right now. I did get clarification from my ref nut, our alt ref, that it was determined that there was no contact made by the Tri-City pivot in the previous jam, hence no call.
Pidiafu is through, getting a big cheer from her bench, and that's going to force a Libralian call-off, but not before she picks up 4 points to bring that lead back up to 76-35. So a 9-0 jam for Libralian, just as Tri-City was starting to get back into it. We got 3 straight Libralian jams to get a little bit more distance for the Furies.
So Dangerous and Incinerator wearing the stars. Once again, Tri-City Thunder in white. In the black and teal will be the Lake Effect Furies from Queen City, Buffalo, New York. Our lone American entry in this year's Quad City Chaos. Incinerator comes up the inside, took a second. It looks like yes, she did pick up lead, Incinerator. A track cutting penalty was actually issued against number 14, Annex, so actually hobbling through the ref lane on her way to the Camp Derby penalty box. May have picked up a bit of a bump at the same time as that contact happened. Something
we'll have to watch. She's an important member of this team. That's the first time Dangerous has not been able to pick up lead jammer status of this game so far now. 4 for 5 for Thunder.
And she gets shut out by Incinerator on that one. A 5-0 jam for the Furies. 81-35. Less than 5 minutes remain in this half.
Quad City Chaos just getting started. We've got a full day of games for you, of course, today, and then continuing through to tomorrow. Coming up after this one, we've got Toronto Roller Derby's B team versus the Montreal Sexpos. And that has been a great rivalry over the years, and we'll see that continue next up here on layer9.ca simulcast on WFTDA.tv.
Smash a good time wearing the star for Thunder, but it's number 51, Dana Skullcrusher for the Furies, who picks up lead. Smash a good time now taken hard to the outside, trying to get around. Looks like Pepper Sticks does complete the initial pass. But Dana Skullcrusher makes the call, gets the word from the bench. Yeah, do it. So that's a quick 4-0. looks like the Furies content to be a bit in the driver's seat right now.
So after Thunder managed to pick up 3 leads in a row, now Queen City has responded with 3 in a row of their own, and extending their lead to 50 points. Mentioned these two teams very close in the rankings. It doesn't seem to have mattered, though, in the past. I think in the last 3 games combined between these two teams, there's been a grand total of 30 points separating them at the end of the game. And that's 3 games. So unbelievably close competition between these two teams.
Right now we have an even 50 separating the two, but do not expect that to hold if history is any guide. Lead status going here to Libralian, number 622 for the Furies. Crazy Squirrel having a crazy time there, getting knocked around by Blackrock Bruiser and 52 Sabrina Schreier. Goes down hard between turns 1 and 2. Not quite out, though. Sabrina Schreier now trying to shovel her over the line, unable to do so. Libralian now coming around the outside, finds that opening. Outside pack official confirms, yes, she's good. She stays in bounds, completes that 5-point pass.
And again, the Thunder defense just didn't quite seem to be set for it. Still seem to be a little bit concerned with trying to get their jammer through. So again, look for these transitions from Thunder to hopefully tighten up as this weekend goes on and they get a little bit more experience playing again with each other.
Jam gets called from the outside there. But 4 more points come in for the Furies. They ride that 9-0 to a 94-35 lead. Just over 2 minutes left in the first half.
So many multiple scoring passes on these Queen City leads. Something that Tri-City is going to have to work through. But I think when you do have a new roster, making those offensive, defensive transitions is something that usually takes some time to develop. 4-4 in the pack. Penalty box is empty. The Camp Derby penalty box. Incinerator jamming once again for Furies. And she's up against Dangerous in the white for Thunder.
Incinerator's so powerful, pushing those blockers out of play and just basically just peels them off one by one, picking up lead status. Dangerous now has completed the initial pass. Incinerator, though, is on the scoring pass.
Dangerous now twice in a row without picking up lead. Also a powerful jammer. Incinerator takes a look at her bench and at the very last minute calls it off.
Yeah. Lake Effect Furies are masters of working the clock to their advantage. Guillotine very good with the eyes on where everybody is at all time and where the clock is. And you'll see time and again, the Queen City Jammers trusting Guy to give them that word, and they're ready, they're waiting, and it's like a flurry of fingers on the hips when it happens.
Under a minute to go. This could be the final jam here in the opening half. It's going to be number 51, Dana Skullcrusher, once again for Furies, and she is up against Crazy Squirrel in the white for Thunder.
Yeah, seeing Crazy Squirrel being used a little more heavily right now with the star. Again, they might be resting Annex, who seemed to be a little worse for wear after a collision a couple of jams ago.
Oh, and Andy Slamberg now heading to the penalty box. Another pivot penalty for Thunder.
Andy Slamberg, also second season with Thunder. Previous experience with Forest City in London, Ontario. 5-point pass there for Dana Skullcrusher. Period clock about to hit 0, I should say. Queen City is in triple digits. 103-35. See how much further they may run this one. That's another 5 points. Looks like they're going to let her run it long.
And another easy pass for Skullcrusher, too, as Squirrel finally able to get through that Furies pack. Oh, and there's a big hit from Fantastic. Oh, and the Dr. Ninja looking for a cut, but it looks like Skullcrusher able to tap her hips twice before getting back onto the track. It was very, very close.
Dr. Ninja very animated coming out there.
Looks like that is going to take us into half, though. A big 14-point jam at the end of that one. Queen City really locking things down over the last half of that tournament. Tri-City going 7 jams in a row without putting a point on the board to close things out. So quite a show of power from the Furies to end what had been a pretty tight opening half so far.
Well, it had indeed. There was at one point I was even thinking that 50-point lead wasn't going to be safe. But now we're up 65-12. That's going to be 77. That's a 77-point lead right now for Queen City.
Yeah, and it could, as we said, we have said throughout this first half, it could just be a matter of Queen City being a little bit tighter. This is only their second game of the year, but this is virtually the same roster that played through a very impressive 2015 season that culminated with their looking good here early on are the Lake Effect Furies. Tri-City's going to have to make some adjustments at half.
All right, so if you are watching at home, up on the upper right of your screen, there should be a little eyeball. No, I think it's on that side. They're right, yeah.
They're right.
It should be a little eyeball. Click on that. That will pop up in another pop-up. You'll get some rosters. You'll get some information, kind of where Nerd's hand is. Yeah, like kind of up in that area.
Yeah.
You'll also see yourself a little box on layer9.ca, a donation box that'll help defray costs for the Boutcast that you are currently enjoying. Please, by all means, kick in a little bit to the kitty, and that'll help us continue to bring Quad City Chaos next year and years beyond.
That's right. So that's going to be it. That's a wrap for half. We've got about 12 minutes or so before we come back. Whole half of Derby coming up. Queen City up 112-35 over Tri-City Thunder at Quad City Chaos 2016.
And welcome back to the bunker at Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm Mr. Whistler, joined here with the Derby Nerd, and you are watching Quad City Chaos on Layer9.ca and WFTDA TV. This is our second sanctioned game of the day. Coming out of the half, Queen City's Lake Effect Furies up 112-35 over Tri-City Thunder. And a little interesting in that first half, like Queen City ending on that high note with that 14-0 jam, although they were in control for the most part.
Yeah, that's right, and they held Tri-City scoreless in the last 7 jams of that half. For Tri-City, Dangerous has been the big difference. The first-year transfer from the Hammer City Roller Girls went 4 for 6 in terms of leads that half, picked up 16 of the 35 points for Tri-City. Things a little bit more spread out on the Queen City side, but still dominant performances from the veterans, Libralian and Incinerator. Libralian and Incinerator both went 6 for 9 in terms of leads, and Libralian leading the way with 43 points. Incinerator has 25 to account for a big chunk of that scoring, but Dana Skullcrusher also a very strong half for Furies as well. One thing to note on the Tri-City side, Crazy Squirrel, got to get her going. She was 1 for 7, only 4 points in that half. So really tough defense from the Furies, zoning in on what was the star jammer for the Thunder last year, having a hard time and a hard go of it against the Furies in this one early here in 2016.
Well, to kick off the second half on the 1234 Skate-Co start line, we will have Libralian, number 622 for Queen City. Queen City, of course, in black and teal. And it is going to be Crazy Squirrel, 231 for Tri-City Thunder.
One other thing to note, very low penalty counts in that first half. 11 for Queen City, 12 for Thunder. 2 power jams going the Thunder's way.
Well, this one goes Queen City's way to start things off. Libralian picking up lead very quickly. Crazy Squirrel still trying to negotiate around that tornado of 3 Queen City blockers. Nobody able to stop Libralian. Libralian with a good head of steam already with a 5-point pass, not even 30 seconds into the half.
And again, seeing Squirrel held up on the outside of turn 2, finally able to skip her way through that and get through in her initial pass, but Brawlian already around and scoring again.
So less than a minute's all it takes for Libralian to put another 9-point dent on the scoreboard. Queen City 121, Tri-City 35.
So yeah, picking up right where they left off, keeping Thunder scoreless. Thunder was within 50 at one point at that 35-point mark, and have not been able to get anything going since. Smashing Good Time, though, is going to try and third things around for Thunder, and she is up there against Incinerator. Incinerator sitting, as I mentioned, on 25 points after the first half.
Incinerator, another powerful jammer on the Lake Effect Fury side. Also very quick with the transitions, too. Looking for room on the inside. And like riding a scooter, pushing with the back foot, does ride that inside line just enough, picks up lead status.
8th straight lead status for the Furies now, stretching over from the first half.
Smashing Good Time, pushing down to a 2-wall to beat. But meanwhile, Incinerator, having beaten her blockers, picks up the scoring pass. That is good for 5.
Furies again with that lockdown defense now as we've almost come around on a full lap, and Jammer still being wrapped up and swallowed up now. Skelton trying to provide some offense, instead takes the star pass. Good defensive transition, though, from Furies. They were waiting for that pass and quickly locked her up.
Bricks Headhouse again causing all sorts of terror for the Tri-City Jammers.
Huge pickup here for Incinerator. 13 points is the total. About half of the points she scored in the first half just on one jam here. And Queen City really seems to have settled in nicely to this game.
Well, also settling into a game here is Libralian. Libralian now into the part of the day where she's going to go one-on-one off with the star. She's going to start this one out on the 1234 Skate-Co star line alongside Dangerous. Again, Dangerous having a bit of a breakout game to the extent that Tri-City's been able to so far, because they have been shut down of late. Again, Libralian picking up lead. Pity LeFou has to let her go.
Well, Dangerous had been 4 for 4 in her first 4 jams, but went 0-2 to close out the first half without lead jammer status. Oh, can't allow Brawley in those easy passes. It's hard enough when you lock on the defense, but leaving those lanes wide open, she's going to take them.
And she has indeed, Nerd, coming back for more. Finds that space on the outside line that time. Rides that for another 5-point pass. Dangerous with the star in hand. This is looking like a stash, although she does have Crazy Squirrel. No, Crazy Squirrel now appears to have received the star and spin around the outside. Completes the initial pass finally for Tri-City. Trying to get her feet under her so that she can stabilize and get the star on the helmet before she goes for points, but expect to see Libralian call it, and she does.
Yeah, Queen City already working the clock here. 14-0 jam for Libralian on that one. 148-35. Tri-City falling into a deep hole here. As we mentioned, Tri-City coming off of 3 straight wins against Queen City. So this could be a nice turnaround for the Furies.
Dana Skullcrusher and Chrissy Skelton wearing the stars. Dana Skullcrusher, very nimble, coming inside and outside and inside again, running into Smashing Good Time and Annex. Being anchored up at the front there by Megan Plead. But they're getting further and further away from the pack. We'll have to see if Dana Skullcrusher's able to push them apart, but now they've all kind of come to a bit of a stop. Meanwhile, Skelton at the back, just seeing strict defense here by Queen City.
Fantastic, with doing a nice job keeping both packs in play. Smashing Good Time with a nice knockout, forces Skullcrusher to reset at turn 1.
Some brief confusion there. Somebody thought they had drawn a cut, had not. Jammer collision there. Skelton with the takeout on Dana Skullcrusher. Chrissy Skelton now going to execute the big, long drawback.
The bench, the bench was telling her not to go. Guillotine trying to tell Skullcrusher to hold up and not be dragged back. But
Skullcrusher holding at turn 3, waiting for everybody else to come. Still do not have a lead jammer. Only 40 seconds left on the jam clock.
Skullcrusher a little late on the re-entry there and able to get absorbed back into the pack, so it all did work out for Thunder. Nice defensive move there from Christy Skelton and her pack.
Skullcrusher does have the star in hand.
And it looks like Smashing Good Time going to head to the penalty box. The multiplayer block penalty. Very clean game from both of these teams, particularly particularly compared to the earlier game, but the third power jam opportunity now for the Thunder. A nice drawing of the cut against Skullcrusher. No power jams for the Furies yet.
No, and this is going to be a Tri-City Thunder power jam to start this one. Skullcrusher only gets into the box after the jam clock ends. So this will be a full power start here for Thunder. And if anybody needed one, they needed one right now. They are down by 113 points right now, 148-35, 23 minutes left in the second half. And Tri-City Thunder is going to send Crazy Squirrel out to take the lead on this one.
First time in 11 jams that the Thunder have been able to hold the Furies off the board.
And that jam was also noteworthy for no lead status being awarded, no points being awarded, went the full deuce. Crazy Squirrel now is in the driver's seat on the power jam with the lead status, going in on the scoring pass. The Tri-City's been bleeding blockers on this one, and it's a full complement of Lake Effect Furies out there right now. Except Libralian now picking up an out-of-play penalty. Libralian wearing the pivot stripe. No doubt Queen City was hoping to set up for a star pass.
May not need to, though.
Well, they can't. Dana Skullcrusher does re-enter, completes the initial. No points for the Furies on that one. And Tri-City goes 9-0 on that one.
Some important points picked up for Tri-City. They had been held off the board for a very long time. Now their first points here, the second half as well. Andy Slamberg standing in the penalty box. It's going to be 4-4 to start this off. Tri-City Thunder will then have a very brief pack advantage, but Andy Slamberg sitting on 4 penalties, the only skater on either team getting into that danger zone.
Dangerous with the star for Tri-City. Incinerator, number 666. Incinerator, a track cut. Incinerator now going to take a seat in the Camp Derby penalty box. Another power jam here for Tri-City. Dangerous, the only jammer on the track.
Fourth power jam of the game for Thunder, and this is the second straight lead status they have picked up in a row as well. But the first for Dangerous in 4 jams after she had gotten 4 straight leads to start things off.
Dangerous there with the scoring pass. That's going to be 5 points. Dr. Ninja warning everybody to watch for star passes. Libralian is out there with the pivot stripe again for Queen City. So when Incinerator returns, Incinerator already with star in hand.
That was the third penalty of the game for Incinerator as well. She has the most for the Furies.
Star Stash, though, instead. Incinerator putting it back on the helmet. Dangerous has already racked up 10 points. Going back for more on this one. Running into Brick's hit house. Has to call it. Gets 1 more point. So that's an 11-0 jam for Tri-City. And we got Thunder on a bit of a run here, Nerd.
Yeah, that is. That's 20 points to nothing now over the last 2 jams as we near the 10-minute mark of the second half here. I'd like to thank one of our new sponsors this year, Roller Sports Canada. Roller Sports Canada, providing insurance and support for all Canadian roller sports. Visit them at rollersports.ca or on Facebook at RSC Roller Derby.
Timeout here being called by Queen City.
And of course, our timeout's brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics all weekends. A big thank you to them. And something we've been mentioning a lot is Camp Roller Derby. They're our sponsors for our penalty box. Roller Derby goes to camp. Gather for a fun, nostalgic back-to-basics camp weekend with skaters, officials, and organizers from derby leagues across Ontario. I went to Camp Roller Derby last year. It was unbelievable. I'm not going to lie. It was an amazing experience just to get into the Muskoka Woods, relax on a lake. A lot of roller derby talk, but no roller derby was played, and no one had skates on their feet all weekend. It was a purely kind of back to the woods experience.
Well, I'd like to see how the skating might work around the old campfire too.
Yeah, well, there is a basketball court, so you can put on skates if you want. But it was more of just kind of to get to know your community kind of experience. There were some talks given by some more organized or more experienced skaters, I should say, about league organization, things like that. I gave a lunch and learn on the history of roller derby. So there's lots of fun discussion going on, but it's mostly just, like I said, a community building event. So if you'd like some more information on that, go to Camp Roller Derby on Facebook, and you can already register for this year's camp. Libralian on the jam line for the Furies up against Smashin' Good Time for Thunder. Again, a 20-0 run right now for Thunder as they try and get back into this one, down by nearly 100 points.
Smashing Good Time, trying to negotiate around the inside. Libralian working on the outside. Libralian hitting the deck, getting taken down by Agrosaurus. Agrosaurus picking up a high blocking penalty for that. Libralian now picking up lead jammer status. Smashing Good Time, meanwhile, coming up the inside, knocked to the infield, but re-enters cleanly. Libralian, look at that lateral movement, inside to outside. Comes up the inside, calls it just in time.
Couldn't quite pull off that weird apex twisty hit hop, but
the
she was able
apex
to get
pretzel.
the points. The apex
we're calling that now.
Okay,
Right?
nice.
If you are watching right now on layer9.ca or WFTDA TV, use the hashtag #talk2. That's the number 2 QCC. If you want to get anything at us, someone will bring us that information. Maybe tell us what your favorite pretzels are. Breakfast pretzels?
Libralian apex pretzels.
Dana Skullcrusher wearing the star right now for the Lake Effect Furies. Christy Skelton again with the star for Tri-City Thunder. Tri-City Thunder making some noise, making some thunder in the second half, looking to see if they can keep up that momentum. Dana Skullcrusher, the expression on her face right now is priceless. The exertion trying to get around Andy Slamberg. Also number 24. That's going to be fantastic. Ann and Andy teaming up.
And Agrosaurus now trying to play some offense for Thunder, trying to get her jammer through. Haven't seen a lot of offense from either of these teams this game. They've both just been kind of locking down the D. Nice hit from Annex to the inside, forces Skull Crusher to reset. She's slow to get up at turn 2.
Well, yeah, she had knocked her clean through the apex, but she was down as she crossed the other line and then had to get back up in the infield and then go to the back to re-enter.
Very experienced line out there right now for Thunder. You mentioned Andy Slamberg transferred from London Roller Girls. So did Antastic. Came over with her. Forest City in London, Ontario, of course. Not the London Roller Girls from London. Forest City Derby Girls from London, Ontario.
So many Londons.
So many Londons. So many Forests.
Star pass now to Annex. Annex with a big smile for having pulled that one off, putting the star over the pivot stripe. Unable to score with it, though, but some happy Thunder as they held Dana Skullcrusher to 1 measly point on that one.
Yeah, that was a very, very, very hard-earned 1 point. Great defense from both of the teams on that last jam. 17 minutes now to go. We are nearing that century. 98 points is the difference. Furies in control over their rivals from Kitchener-Waterloo.
Crazy Squirrel and Incinerator on the 12:34 Skateco start line. Again, they part. Incinerator tries to take the inside. Crazy Squirrel, after finding the outside blocked, goes to that same inside, pulls it off. Incinerator running into some resistance. Pidiafu up at the front there, anchoring that triangle diamond thing. And Incinerator taken down hard. Has to go back to re-enter.
Dangerous looking very impressive, whether she's got the star or the stripe on this game for Thunder. Second straight lead picked up for Crazy Squirrel. She only managed 1 in the first half. So she is starting to warm up here. Later stage of this game. And picks up all 5 points on that pass. So a big 5-point pickup for Thunder.
The deficit now would be, let's say, 93 points on that scoreboard, 153-60 in favor of Queen City. Almost at the halfway point in the second half. Announcer math is the most difficult math there is.
Looks like it's going to be Libralian again, and we have Agrosaurus out for her first jam of the game. Agrosaurus now with the star for Thunder.
Tuesday Hula hitting the deck.
Actually, I think Agro did jam once in the first half as well.
Libralian with the lead status. Already approaching the pack. See how they shut the door this time.
One great thing about this Furies jammer rotation, too, is how distinct each of their jammers are. Libralian, Incinerator, and Dana Skullcrusher all giving different looks to the Tri-City defense. And it's hard to bring a consistent sort of defensive approach to each of these jammers. All very different. Nice job by Agrosaurus, though, to get around, force that call off just past the midway point here, the second half.
Prompted a bit of a reaction from the Tri-City bench as well for that move. And yes, they were able to hold Libralian to only a 4-point pass as a result.
Coming up now to the 12:34 Coast Skate Company start line. It's going to be Dangerous once again for Thunder, and she's up against Murphy for Furies.
Fury starting to mix things up a bit as well. I do believe Murphy had a jam in the first half with the star.
Yep. Just 1 in the first half and 1 here so far in the second.
Things coming to a bit of a standstill at turn 1. Again, both teams running mostly defense here. Dangerous, though, does work her way through the inside line, and that loosens everything up. Murphy only has 1 more to beat to complete her initial pass. Gets trapped by Kirsty Skelton.
Tri-City has now picked up 4 of the last 7 lead jammer statuses. Slight advantage here in the midway point of the second half. And Dangerous going to pick up a few points at the end of that jam as well. Looks like just 1.
as she went down over the line to the infield as the jam was being called. So only able to pick up that single solitary point.
Christy Skelton in the Camp Derby penalty box. It's going to be a 4-3 pack advantage here for the Furies. Smashing good time up against Libralian on the 12:34 skate co start line. A slow start, neither jammer making much motion right now. Libralian just looking like she's trying to set the defense before she makes an effort against that 3 wall of Thunder blockers.
Annie Slamberg, Antastic, and Ann X. It's an all-Ann assault there by Tri-City, unable to contain Libralian. However, Smashing Good Time escapes right on her wheels. Chrissy Skelton emerging from the Camp Derby penalty box, going to rejoin the pack ahead of the Jammers. Libralian with the hop, but Smashing Good Time steals 4. So that one's a draw.
And 0.7, but there they are now added to the scoreboard, 161-65. Nice steal there for Thunder. A rare steal against Libralian as well. Penalty box remains empty, 5-on-5 derby. Very clean game by these two teams. Both of them are going to be very happy, I think, when this is all said and done in terms of their penalty accumulation.
Crazy Squirrel with some toe stop action on the outside line has picked up lead status. Incinerator still has some work to do. Now has completed, but half a lap advantage right now for Crazy Squirrel.
And this is the Crazy Squirrel I think that we were expecting to see based on her play last year. Took that first half just to get warmed up, but she seems to be skating very well right now.
Gets knocked over the line, does pick up the 3 points. Maybe a bit of a quick call there. Might have had time to go back for that 4th one. Incinerator, though, was accelerating. Doesn't take the chance. Tri-City now at 68. Queen City holding at 161. 11 minutes left on the period clock.
17 points so far in this half for Crazy Squirrel. Had only 4 in the whole first half. So a big difference from her, and this Thunder offense is going to need to get her going if they want to keep this push up. Dangerous now on the line against Libralian.
Legs getting tangled and knotted on the outside line. That resistance not enough to do anything serious on Libralian. Libralian picking up the lead. Dangerous now getting drawn back to turn 2. Back on the straightaway. Rides the line on the inside. Picks up her initial. However, Libralian's picking up points at the same time.
Nice quick little offensive sweep there from the Furies blockers, pushing them inside, opening up the lanes 1 and 2, allowing Brawlian with a nice easy pass. A nice call off there from Libralian, making up for the late one last time, just as Dangerous was about to pick up points. So 4-0 jam for Furies.
This is, of course, an official WFTDA recognized tournament. The WFTDA Recognized Tournaments program recognizes and supports high-quality WFTDA member-hosted tournaments worldwide. See the complete schedule of this year's recognized tournaments at WFTDA.com/events.
Dana Skullcrusher, jammer for Furies, pushing her way through that pack as we come around to turn number 1. Up against her Smashing Good Time, though, who also trying to push the packs ahead and trying to open up a lane for herself. Able to do so. Smashing Good Time with the lead jammer status as her pivot gets sent to the penalty box. Crazy Squirrel with the multiplayer block penalty.
Dana Skullcrusher now has Star back on the helmet after that stash. Bud about 9 feet, closes. No points picked up by the Furies, but we had another 3 there by Thunder. So Thunder now at 71. Closing the gap a little bit. Still has a fair bit of ground to make up, though. Just under 9 minutes left on the period clock.
They have, though, more than doubled their first half score already with 8 minutes to go. So a good sign there. And they have kept the Furies comparatively quiet as well. Only 53 points this half to 36. Furies slight advantage.
Incinerator pushing up at the front there with Annex and Antastic to beat. Picks up lead. Annex and Antastic now coming back to try to run a bit of offense there along with Andy Slamberg for Christy Skelton. Crazy Squirrel back out of the Camp Derby penalty box, runs into one of her teammates. Incinerator around the outside, ridden to the line, but not over by Annex. That's a 5-point pass for the Furies. Christy Skelton with the Star Stash. It's back on the helmet. About a fifth of a lap to make up.
And it's going to be...
Looks like no more points come in at the end of that one. A couple of donuts up in the air.
99 points is the difference now. Queen City looking for their first victory in 3 games against Thunder in clear control now with 7.5 minutes to go. Second game of the 2016 Quad City Chaos. 3 more coming up today. 4 more for you tomorrow, all broadcast live here at layer9.ca and simulcast on WFTDA.tv.
Libralian weathers some back contact, picks up lead status again. Dangerous does break through. Thunder now lining up at the second turn, leaving a lot of space though. Again, don't need to leave much for Libralian. It's like that whole thing, where they say something the size of a pencil, a mouse can get through, and you got to put all that steel wool. We're not seeing enough steel wool right now, I think, from Thunder in this game.
No, not at all. Libralian doesn't even need the space of a pencil. Just one of those single wooden leads that used to be in the middle of wooden pencils. Do you remember that? That's all she needs. Libralian looking very impressive here early on in the season. Looks like a timeout's going to be called by Tri-City Thunder, and that gives us an opportunity to thank some more of our sponsors, including Rollerbones. Rollerbones Turbos plus Bone Swing Bearings makes for a winning combination. Visit rollerbones.com. We'd also like to thank Monster Muffin, a local skater-owned and operated company. With a studio only 30 minutes north of Toronto, you can't get much more local than this. Monster Muffin clothing is proudly made in Canada, providing quality derby apparel to the world. Check them out and fall in love at monstermuffin.com.
Both of these teams will be in action again later today. Tri-City Thunder's next game will come at 5 o'clock. They'll be taking on Les Duchesses from Roller Derby, Quebec. That'll be at 5 p.m. Toronto time. And then at 7 in the Battle of the QEW, we will have the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars taking on Queen City's Lake Effect Furies. That'll be at 7 p.m. Before either of those games, though, 2 o'clock this afternoon, first B game of this year's Quad City Chaos will be between Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars B team taking on the Montreal Sexpos, of course, from Montreal Roller Derby.
Sexpos, the highest-ranked B team in Canada, part, of course, of the highest-ranked league in our nation as well.
It's been like that for some time, hasn't it?
Forever, basically, forever.
Since God was a little boy.
Well, the B team, the Toronto B team, has defeated the Sexpos on a few occasions, but it's been a couple years since those two teams have met.
Dana Skullcrusher picking up lead there for the Furies. Number 51, wearing number 519 for Tri-City. That's smashing good time with the Star. Stuck now. Star coming off. Not going to be a pass just yet. Her pivot, Annex, way up at the front now, running some defense along with Christy Skelton against Dana Skullcrusher. Dana Skullcrusher taking some abuse. Meanwhile, Smashing Good Time has enough to contend with at the back of the pack, running into problems there from Blackrock Bruiser and Tuesday Hula. Skullcrusher now has completed that scoring pass.
Annex headed to the Camp Roller Derby penalty box, 4-3 pack advantage for the Furies.
Skullcrusher with a relatively straightforward pass there, but it's good for another 5 points. Guillotine Tellier just run this one long. And now it's going to be a power jam for the Furies. Track cutting penalty against Smashing Good Time. Takes the Star with her to the Camp Derby penalty box.
First power jam opportunity of the game for the Lake Effect Furies. They've managed to build up this lead all half, despite the fact that this half alone they've given up 2 power jams. And this is the first one they've had for their own. Dana Skullcrusher calls that off after picking up another 4. It's going to be a power start opportunity for Libralian and a full 4 pack for the Furies.
I got to say, that's an impressive feat right there for any team in sanctioned play to run basically 45 minutes of derby time. 55 minutes of derby time, I should say, with a clean sheet for the Jammers. So, going to kill a little of the momentum they had going into that jam. That was a 15-0 jam in favor of Queen City. Their lead is now back up to 118 points.
Interesting start there for the Thunder, starting at the pivot line, trying to make up some pace as Libralian entered. But I don't know if giving Libralian that much room to build up a head of steam is actually smart. Have managed to knock her out, though, and forcing her to reset at the back of the pack. So what do I know? Tri-City Thunder seem to be knowing what they want to do. But there we go, Libralian able to pick up some speed and get through on the outside, pick up another lead. Jammer status for the Furies.
That's right. Send all your hate mail to derbynerd.com.
Smashing good time, though, back on the track in the pack. Past the star to Crazy Squirrel. She is out ahead of Libralian, who has her hands on her hips, taps for the call-off. Another 4-point pickup, though, for the Furies. 193 now, 71 under 4 to go.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing, as the time goes on here, we're going to be seeing more and more often the Queen City Jammers skating with the hands already at hip level. It's kind of like you're playing volleyball, you're a spiker, you're going up with the arm already in the air to get that momentum. They ride the momentum when they call jams. Dangerous and Incinerator on the 1234 Skako start line. Incinerator getting a little more room, peeling apart those blockers, picking up lead status. Multiplayer penalty being issued to Tuesday Hula of the Furies. Incinerator now coming around behind Annex, and Andy Slamberg has one more to beat on this pass, I believe.
Nice offense from Megan Pleed. Strong game for the Tri-City blocker, Megan Pleed. Now heading to the penalty box on a direction of gameplay penalty, but seeing some strong play from individual Thunder skaters here early on in the season. And Dangerous with a nice quick pass to Annex. Could limit the damage here on this pass.
Tri-City employing the star pass a little more frequently now to their advantage. That advantage not leading to additional points, but it does stem a bit of the bleeding on the other side of the scoreboard. Queen City has crossed the double century mark now, up 202 to 71 with 208 on the period clock.
Nice little juke there from Incinerator. Looked like Thunder may have been able to force a call off, but nice move from Incinerator, ensured all 4 points were put on the board on that second pass. Under 2 minutes to go now. And it looks like Queen City will end a 3-game losing streak against their Thunder counterparts. Time will tell, though. Timeout has been called for the Furies as their first second timeout used this game. They still have one official review left for the half as well. Finally, want to thank Roller Derby Athletics. They are sponsoring our timeouts, but also giving some MVP prizes for the weekend. Them along with Diva Cup. So big thanks to Roller Derby Athletics and Diva Cup for supplying our MVPs with their prizes. The MVPs, of course, will be named following the last game tomorrow night at the end of the Quad City Chaos. So around between 6:30 and 7, you can catch that MVP ceremony. And I mentioned Camp Roller Derby earlier on as well, and I didn't get a chance to get the website out there. You can, of course, find them on Facebook, but you can also find them at camprollerderby.ca. And there is an early bird special until March 31st. So go online, take advantage of that, book your ticket for the August 19th to 21st weekend at Camp Eden Woods. Crazy Squirrel on the start line up against Libralian in the black for the Furies.
Libralian driving this pack up the outside, but Crazy Squirrel following suit up the inside, gets stuck. Libralian picking up lead. Crazy Squirrel, though, we're seeing a lot of momentum here as Fury's having a bit of trouble putting on the brakes on her, making Libralian work a bit more for this one. Now she's coming up around the back. Has enough room.
And the Furies doing what they did in the first half, and that is lock things down late. They ended on a 7 lead run to end the first half, and they've got 6 in a row here as well, and another 4 points on the board for Libralian.
So again, they're going to run these nice 4-0s and just try to bring this one home. Less than a minute left on the period clock. Queen City's Lake Effect Furies at 2:06. Tri-City Thunder at 71.
And looks like this will be our final jam of the second game, the 2016 Quad City Chaos. As much of this game has been played, it's going to be 5-on-5 on the track. And here it is, final jam of the game underway. Incinerator in the black against Dangerous in the white.
Dangerous kind of riding the back of those blockers while we're also seeing Incinerator with the lateral movement. Zigs and zags, picks up lead status, 10 seconds left on the period clock. Let's see what Queen City is going to do here if they want to get more points on the board, increase their margin of victory. Dangerous yet to complete the initial pass. Incinerator now scoring.
Given how close these two teams are in the standings, I think that Queen City is going to be very happy with this victory. They're just 4 spots ahead of them. 47th to 51 for Tri-City.
Guillotine with the word. Okay, that's it. Call it. Final points coming in on that pass for Incinerator. 3. Your unofficial final. Wait for it to go in the books. For the unofficial final, 209-71 in favor of the Lake Effect Furies.
And as I mentioned, that ends a 3-game losing streak for the Furies against Tri-City. That dated back 3 years, but included some very intense games and obviously blew the point differentials out of the water. I mentioned 30 points had been the total differential between these two teams in the last 3 games that they've played. So Queen City obviously looking very strong, and the Thunder rebuild, I think, has begun here in 2016.
It has indeed. We're going to see a very interesting game, I'd say, at 7 o'clock tonight between Thunder and the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars.
Yep.
Sorry, that'll be tomorrow.
That's right.
I got my schedule mixed up.
Queen City and Toronto.
Queen City. Well, that's also going to be very interesting. The Tri-City Toronto game tomorrow will be at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
That one will be equally fascinating.
Yeah, 2 rebuilding teams looking to get back into Division 1 before the year's over, so there will be a lot on the line in that game for sure. And tonight, as you mentioned, Queen City next up at 7 p.m. against the hosts of the Quad City Chaos Toronto Roller Derby. They had also had a little bit of a winning streak broken by Queen City the last time they played. Queen City picking up a 3-point upset in the first round of the Division 1 playoffs.
That was a
year.
heck of a game. There.
Yeah, a last jam comeback for Queen City, led by, of course, Libralian with the star. So that'll be coming up at 7 p.m. tonight. But we've got another game coming up here at 2 p.m.
Yeah, that'll be the Toronto Roller Derby All-Stars B team taking on the Montreal Roller Derby Sexpos. That'll be at 2 p.m. We'll see who's on the call for that one. It'll be a surprise. But you are currently watching Quad City Chaos from the bunker in Toronto, Ontario on layer9.ca and WFTDA.tv.